Superstar Ricky Martin has amassed a substantial fortune of $130 million over a career that has spanned decades. So the question has to be asked, how does he spend that kind of cash? Ricky Martin's life is utterly insane, so of course it would take a $13.5 million mid-century mansion to actually get him to slow down. As a massively successful performer, Martin usually lives his life on the road, going from venue to venue, so when it came time for him and his husband to settle things down a bit, they naturally had to do it in style. There's no better place to go for that exact sort of thing than Beverly Hills. It's a 7-bedroom and 8-bathroom home that is one of the top 5 most beautiful places I've ever seen. The home is sunken down with a series of long stairs leading towards a welcoming doorway cast against the palm trees. From there, it only gets more inviting. White oak floors lead through every room of this house, from the marble bathrooms that look like they belong in a spa to the living areas, which are the architectural equivalent of a warm hug on a rainy day. Seriously, the place has a frickin' fireplace built into one of its walls. Their home is so great it has been featured in publications like Architectural Digest for just how amazing it is. Every single room looks like it was designed specifically for that article alone. Each interesting piece of furniture or delightful piece of artwork is complemented by the extensive natural lighting from the California sun through the floor-length windows that practically make the entire place glow. Outside, the home looks like a kid's dream come true. An expansive, almost fairy tale garden with a dramatic arcing tree leads the way into a space clearly designed for kids to run as much energy off as possible. If you don't think that's what the space is going for, I'd like to point out the multiple spaces for adults to kick back and relax with a margarita just in eyeshot of the kids. That is a design choice for parents if ever I've seen one. The famous designer Nate Berkus actually put this together with the intent of creating a perfect foundation for the entire family to build their ideal life. Well, I'd have to say he nailed it 10 out of 10. What's truly surprising is that Berkus put this together in a mere 2 months. That man knows how to get stuff done. Martin's other homes show that his taste is universal, not just some one-time thing with his family home. For instance, his New York penthouse apartment has a similar look that could be easily featured in a magazine, though it trades the warm California sun for a cold-looking home with plenty of dark colors and minimalist design choices. It is a 2-unit combination condo on the Upper West Side. This one represents a completely different side of Martin. The rooms definitely don't feel like a hug anymore. They are sleek, stylish, and cold. There is barely any bright color in the entire space. Everything is black, white, and dark brown, with the floor-to-ceiling windows offering the only life, the view of the Upper West Side. Even the amazing contemporary kitchen looks a little unwelcoming. I mean, Martin has several kids and there's not even one magnet on that refrigerator. That should tell you something. Like his other home, he went with an expert designer to make his home yet another masterpiece. This time, Martin hired legendary designer Peter Marino. Marino's so well regarded that he recently had to defend his choice to charge $3 million for redesigning a Chanel store. That is a man who knows his worth. If you look at this home, you can tell he has truly mastered New York chic. This is like if Meryl Streep's character in The Devil Wears Prada was an apartment. It spans over 3,147 square feet, features 4 bedrooms, 4 baths, and a half bath. Eventually, the penthouse was sold for $8.4 million. Of course, his Miami home is the complete and utter opposite of the penthouse. It's an $18.5 million Mediterranean-style place that seems like some sort of Roman bathhouse. It's bold, expansive, decadent, and practically begging for a party to be thrown. It's a big estate with a giant pool in front that screams, "I've got money." This is the exact sort of place Tony Montana from Scarface would get. Once you get inside, though, the entire home takes a shift. While the poolside is clearly the area where the ragers are being held, the interior looks a lot classier. Stately furniture pieces combined with intricate ceilings and pleasing, if rather boring, art pieces make this home look surprisingly fancy for a party pad. Of course, that could be just because he needs a quiet, peaceful place to recover after a night's worth of wildness. While there are many of us who would love to believe that Martin does exactly what he says and lives like this every day of his life, this has actually become his go-to vacation spot. Once you learn about his other big vacation spot, you'll see how big a deal that is. You gotta respect a parent who still parties this hard. If anyone could pull that off, Ricky Martin can. These homes paint different pictures of the man himself. The warm family man, the cold private one, and the party animal. If your homes are supposed to tell a story about yourself, his really show how multifaceted the pop icon truly is. Are you even a decadent celebrity if you don't have your own private island? If you ask Leonardo DiCaprio, Johnny Depp, or Mr. Livin' La Vida Loca himself, Ricky Martin, the private island is non-negotiable. While DiCaprio paid $1.7 million for his island, and Depp spent $3.6 million for his, Martin's blows both of them away with an $8 million price. I don't know who Martin's island guy is, but he definitely scored the sweetest one. Martin's island paradise stretches out over 19 acres of pristine beauty. By pristine, I mean that it is actually part of a protected marine reserve. Martin has a piece of paradise right off of Brazil that is not quite what you'd think. He seems like the sort of person who'd want his own private resort. You'd think he'd be hosting constant parties there like the ones in his videos. Instead, he's got a private fortress. That's not a metaphor either. I'm talking about a literal fortress. It holds old watchtowers that each carry literal cannons. So if Enrique Iglesias ever tries to attack with his pirate ship, Martin is more than ready. His vacation home is styled after a Portuguese colonial villa. That means the home probably has vibrant colors, a pointy roof, and plenty of space outside to have a drink with the sight of the setting sun right in front of you. If that doesn't sound beautiful enough, the island is only about 2 hours away from Rio de Janeiro, one of the best places in the world to find a good party. Considering the fact that his music video Vida was filmed on a beach in Rio, I think it's safe to say that he's a fan. With a party pad, a private island, and the most relaxing family home ever built in Beverly Hills, you wouldn't think Martin and his husband would have to vacation much. You'd be wrong. The pair have been spotted in several international locales, such as Sardinia, Italy. The two clearly charter giant yachts and take those around the nicest areas in the world, and then they hit the beach. These vacations are likely a huge expense even for them. Renting a super yacht like the one they've been spotted on can cost upwards of $150,000. When you have twins, though, spending on some time away is probably worth every penny. Go ahead and guess what kind of car Ricky Martin drives. What did you imagine, a big muscle car, an expensive Ferrari, or a flashy Tesla? Well, you'd be so wrong. Ricky Martin utterly destroys every mental image I've ever had of him with the two cars he's been spotted driving. For starters, his main vehicle is a Land Rover Range Rover. It's been estimated that he spent a little over $100,000 for this workhorse of a car. The car has a top speed of 176 miles per hour and can hit 60 miles per hour in 4.3 seconds. All in all, it's a pretty nice ride. One that is a great balance of performance, luxury, and versatility. That being said, it's one of the last cars I'd expect Martin to drive. At least he's not driving around in some kind of suburban. You'd most likely see a soccer mom driving around. Oh wait, you would. Martin also reportedly owns a Chevy Suburban, which only runs around $57,000. It will run 154 miles per hour with an acceleration time of 7 seconds, though this is definitely not the kind of car you buy to hit those speeds. While I was surprised that there's not so much as one Lambo in his collection, He is a father of 4. Maybe having a couple of workhorse cars to carry around the family is worth more than all of the fancy muscle cars money can buy. Private islands can run for like 500 grand, but Ricky Martin just wouldn't be Ricky Martin if he bargain shopped for his islands.